Hi everyone, my name's Sarah. I am one half of Two Pearls in a Pod, which is a podcast I normally make alongside the beautiful Paige. But Paige is on holiday. Paige is living her best South American life. And I am guarding the fort here in Melbourne. It feels kind of weird, but I'm contemplating doing an episode without her. We talked about doing a side-by-side remote conversation type thing, but I think for the time being I'm just going to have to wing it by myself, because I think her access to reliable internet and a time zone that is going to suit for both of us is going to be a little bit challenging until she gets to maybe like more bigger population places. So I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how to talk about stuff without having her as like my soundboard. But I have quite a few things that I wanted to talk about, and I'm really excited to talk about them. It's just a shame I don't have my hype girl with me. I still think there's plenty to talk about, so I will do that. And then down the track, hopefully Paige will join me in some capacity to tell a little bit about what she's been getting up to. So let's do it. I am here on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I am, as always, really grateful to be here. It's an interesting time in Melbourne and makes me love it all the more. I have recently got back from holiday as well, so I feel like it's been quite a while since I have sat down and spoken about knitting, mainly because I went up to Northern Australia for 2 weeks, which was so incredibly beautiful and so incredibly the opposite of Melbourne. It's kind of incredible that you don't need a passport to travel from Melbourne, which is overcast and gloomy and raining, to Darwin in the Northern Territory, where it's sort of 35 degrees and it was like hot and beautiful, and I went hiking and it was glorious. But I'm back, and I'm back to kind of like grasp the last of winter before it slips through my fingers. I feel like I got back from holiday and it was beautiful and sunny, but I was really craving a bit of cold weather again, and I got back and it wasn't quite as cold as I wanted it to be. And I know that's like careful what you wish for, but I'm not quite ready to let go of winter. Like there's still some knits that I want to kind of get made and worn, and there's some spring things which I really want to be making, and there's spring things I want to be wearing now, and basically climate change is disrupting all of my knitting plans. But this is my real cross to bear. But I will talk about some of my most recent works in progress and finished objects. The most spectacular of which is my book Club Cardigan. So this is my main finished object. I finished it right before I went on holiday, and I really wanted to get it done just as kind of like a mental thing. So it was a real kind of stagger to the finish line with this one. But this is the book Club Cardigan by Sari Nordland. This was a cardigan that I made as part of a knit along that I hosted alongside Mathilde of Nestled in Knits and Sandra of Enso Knits. We all kind of expressed interest in knitting it when it first came out, and I think everyone just got that it was just like the perfect cable-y cardigan. And so we ran this knit along, which turned out to be like the best, craziest, funnest thing. Like, here's me being like, oh, this will be fun. Maybe there'll be a few people in the chat. It was so great. It was so fun to see everyone's progress. It was amazing to see people supporting each other, and some of the technical workarounds and tips and some of the modifications. And I really benefited from that. So I'm really grateful, and I love that the chat is still going. It's sort of got taken on a life of its own, but it was really nice to be a part of. So I'm really grateful to everyone who participated. I'm really grateful to Mathilde and Sandra, who definitely did a lot more of the heavy lifting in terms of running it and administrative stuff. I had sort of a lot going on with work and holidays, but they did a glorious job, and yeah, so it was all really great. It was a great thing to do. I've not really done that before, and so I just like jumped into kind of semi-hosting one, and it was great. There were some prizes which were predominantly announced by Sandra and Mathilde, mainly because I was out of reception on holiday when the Cal technically finished. So most of those prizes have been distributed. The one that I have is this one, which is a little project bag that I made with some Merchant & Mills oilcloth fabric and some rifle paper co-lining, which is just like the dream combo. But this is just a little project bag that I sewed, and I'm happy to, and I'm going and said that I'd post to whoever won this particular prize. I believe that's been drawn, but I've not actually been contacted by the person who is the winner, whose name I can't quite remember. I will put it here. If you watch my videos, please contact me so I can send this to you, because it's sort of like sitting near my knits and I really need another project bag at the moment. So I'm kind of tempted to just start using it, which is not what I want. I want to post this and like share the love of an oilcloth project bag. So please get in touch. I won't contact you, so for bots and stuff. But that was the Cal. Let me talk a little bit about my garment. I used a yarn that was gifted to me for the Cal by Zealana, which is a New Zealand-based yarn, which is, its key feature is that it contains some possum. I can't remember the breakdown, but it's got wool, silk and possum. It's a worsted weight. It is absolutely the most beautiful yarn I've ever worked with. And I'm so grateful to them, because this was such a fantastic experience to try a really interesting luxury yarn that maybe I wouldn't have had the confidence to dive in and do a full project myself. But having now done it, I'm probably more inclined to do it again, because I know that this yarn is it's just amazing. So and I think the charm of this yarn, which I've probably waxed lyrical about before, is it makes the most beautiful halo, which is some of those possum fibres, which are darker and don't take, well, this one is undyed, but even in the other colourways, the possum fibre doesn't really take the dye. So you kind of get this interesting dark halo on top of the yarn. But it's just made the most beautiful, beautiful garment. And I think it's got really good stitch. It's got, despite the fuzziness and the halo, I think there's definitely enough stitch definition in this that you can still celebrate the beautiful cables. And I'm just really proud of this. I think it's definitely the most involved knit that I've ever made. It's definitely, it's probably taken the most time of anything. It's just so intricate, but so worth it. I think there was definitely a period where I was kind of losing motivation, especially on the sleeves, which were a bit of a chore for me. But I actually really enjoyed working on the body, just because once you got the pattern established, it was really enjoyable. But it was a big undertaking, but it's so worth it in the end. Since I've made it, since I got back from holiday, I have it's just perfect. I have worn it heaps. I really enjoy how easy it is to throw on. And I mean, I think this is just me realizing that how great cardigans are, what a revelation. And I feel everyone at the moment is also having the same revelation, or maybe revelation is not the right word, but I feel everyone has been how great are cardigans? And I'm oh yeah, actually how great are cardigans? So I'm just really enjoying the ease of wearing this. I've just come, I had work this morning, but I work somewhere fairly casual, so I can just wear it with a t-shirt. And actually I'm really enjoying this. I don't know if you can see, I got these green corduroy trousers, dark green, And this is like my favorite go-to outfit at the moment because it's like peak comfort and a bit hobbity, and really comfy. And I think probably, yeah, and kind of like meets my work vibe, like work requirements. I made a few changes, nothing drastic, and I probably might have made more changes if I'd paid more attention to some of the conversations going on in the chat, in the knit along chat, just because some people made some really great modifications, which I really liked, but I kind of like I'd gone beyond that point, and I didn't, as much as I liked them, I didn't care enough to go back. But it was largely to do with some of the cabling at this point where you pick up for the front after doing the back. And look, it's not the neatest, and it would be nice if it was more seamless, and lots of people either made changes to the cables or added an additional cable kind of to define the seam line and break up the two diamonds, both of which I really, really liked, but I did neither of those things. The biggest changes that I made was I picked up a few extra stitches, I think, in the end for the sleeves. I know some people have gone up quite a bit for the sleeves because I think they found that they were a bit skinny, which I think suits the boxiness of the cardigan, to have a slightly comfier sleeve. And I think definitely that contributes to the relaxed, easy, like the ease of wear. I think wouldn't be as easy if it was skinny sleeves. But my sleeves are probably a little bit looser, but also I have quite a loose tension. I'm at the second size, and it's like, it's got a fair amount of ease, probably not as much as I think the pattern intended, but I think given it's got cables, you wouldn't actually want to go too oversized, because already I'm finding that the cables are being lost in the folds, which is fine, but the more oversized it is, the less point there is, I feel like, in doing intricate things which take a long time. But so yeah, I added a little bit of length to the sleeves because I've got long arms and I like a long sleeve. But then the counter to that is that I actually made a slightly shorter body. I found that in some of the photos, the full length ones seem to be hitting at a little bit of an awkward point, and I like a cropped cardigan. So I've done, I think because I counted Sari Nordland's photograph, and I think she had done 4 diamonds on the sleeve, so I've done 5. But then she also had 1, 2, 3, 4. I think she had 5 diamonds running down the front. Sorry, 6, and I ended up doing 5.5. So I cut off midway. I think this one was meant to finish here and then have a rib, but so like that's my hip bone there, so it's hitting more or less at my hip bone. I elected to not do pockets. There was kind of a few different reasons why I did that, and I was kind of prompted that would be a good idea from Ord from Bubbles and Berries, who I think was doing the test or is currently making the book club cardigan as well, and she said she wasn't going to do the pockets. I feel like because it's cropped, the utility of having a pocket that's like at a sensible point means it would be really short, or it would be like really awkwardly high. I'm not going to use it because I'm not actually going to put anything in them. It would add bulk and it would use up more yarn. And this was a project that definitely understates the amount of yarn that it's requires, I think. And there was a lot of people in the Cal who mentioned that they were playing Yarn Chicken and lost that game, or needed to get more yarn, or ended up using more than was specified. And I was certainly in that category. So despite the fact that, like, yeah, I probably added a bit extra to the sleeves, but cut some off the body and didn't do the pockets. And the other change I made was that I did a simple, like 1x1 rib button band rather than the double knit button band, which would have used a lot more yarn. Even with all of those kind of modifications to reduce yarn consumption, I still needed an extra ball of yarn. So I think this is just a cautionary tale for me. I spoke about this in one of the previous episodes that if I do another Sari Nordland pattern, I probably will err on the side of extra rather than less. But it worked out for me, but I think it's just something to keep in mind. I really like I think the decision to do the 1x1 button band rather than the double knit button band, I think was a good call. I feel like it made it look like it was a bit heavy, and like there was already so much going on that it seemed like an extra like chunky thing, which I wasn't my preference. So I ended up just doing I just picked up stitches and knit a button band and then did a sewn bind off. The other thing I chose to do was not do as many buttonholes or do them lower. So I think the shaping, this is probably the weirdest thing about the pattern that I'm like not sold about, is that the increases to create the V is actually quite shallow and you start quite early. And then, so I think it was sort of about here that it wants you to do your first buttonhole, which kind of, it's not something for me. It's not for me, but it's gentle enough that I can just kind of fudge it. And so I ended up putting my first buttonhole about here. I haven't actually put buttons on it yet. I will eventually, but I have no intention of ever wearing this buttoned up, I don't think. So it's not a priority for me. But I ended up just kind of estimating, and I only did 3 buttons as a result of that, because I felt like one kind of up here looked a bit weird and awkward. But it's gentle enough that you could fudge it, but I know some people also made a modification that they somehow modified this so that the V was naturally a bit deeper. But I think all of that to say, I love this. I'm really proud of it. I think it'll be something that I kind of go back to and wear with pride for a long time. And I'm really pleased I put the effort into it. It'll be extra special because of the cal and all of the like lovely kind of experiences I had in that. It will be extra special because I was gifted this yarn, which I've never had before, but it was a lovely treat to try a really luxurious yarn. And just got lots of positive things to say. I think a lot of people are making it. I think there's plenty of cable cardigans out there. If this one is like too overwhelming, there's other options, but yeah. The one thing I was thinking actually, I feel like this might be, it's rare that I would be inclined to make the same cardigan, like the same garment more than once, but this is something that I actually think I would also really enjoy in another hobbity colour, like a darker one. We'll see. But this is the first time that I've kind of been like, ooh, I kind of would like to own this again because of how much I love it at the moment. We'll see if that actually ever happens. Don't hold your breath. Okay, I think that's enough about that. I have one other finished object, but I've already had to give it away, so I'll just have to show a picture of it, which is a shame because it was very cute. And it was a Ollie's bear beanie or something like that it was a pattern by Hannah G Knits. I've just like been eyeing this off for a long time. I think it's just like, it's just guaranteed cuteness. So I had like one random 50 gram ball of superwash baby yarn that I had actually dyed because I dyed some yarn. It didn't turn out quite the color that I wanted, but it turned out to be a really good like bare brown color. So it was great for this little beanie. And I just used the whole ball up. I think I did knit the 3rd size, which is about newborn, because she does a few preemie sizes. And I knit the ears first, and then this is so dumb. I wanted to be able to knit it top down so that I could use up all the yarn and not worry about running out with the 150 gram ball that I had. So I provisionally cast on and then started shaping for the crown straight away, and then picked up back at that point and went down. What I should have done is just done a top down beanie, like I would be like a Musselburgh or something. But it was only after I was like picking up the provisional cast on stitches that I realized that I'd really made a lot of work for myself unnecessarily. But I've ended up with like, again, essentially a free project because it's yarn that's been in stash and I wasn't going to use for anything else. And I've got a real cute beanie. And I passed it on to my work friend, and she was very kind and very excited. And I think her little boy's gonna look real cute in it. But they're my two finished objects. I have a few whips to discuss. The main one is one that I was like, oh, I might have a bit to show. Like, I'll just show the start of it. And then I blinked and it's just kind of run away from me in like the best way. I'm having a great time. But I think possibly part of the reason I'm so motivated to knit this is because I'm worried seasonally that I won't get any wear out of it before it gets warm. So I'm like, quick, knit, winter is leaving. But this is my stick season jumper by Rebecca Clow of the Crayobear. I was like, oh, maybe I'll be able to show like some of my stick texture, but now I have joined under the arms and I am on my way with my first sleeve. It's flown. It's like just enough interest to keep you interested, but like enough stock in it now that it's just like, so this is has like a textured bib, like upper yoke is the wrong thing because it's not in the round, but like upper section, which is styled on an old-fashioned Guernsey, which actually, this is a total tangent. I watched a really good video by Rajiv Surendra, who is my favorite person on the internet. He's just so interesting. He was one of the mathletes, an actor who was one of the mathletes in Mean Girls, and turns out he's just this like Renaissance eccentric man who makes these like fantastic YouTube videos. And he did a whole video about like the history of the Guernsey, and like how the different textured patterns kind of were tied to particular villages. So that was like the signature of the village and could help identify sailors when they kind of couldn't have any other, like when it was maybe difficult to difficult to say where people were from or something. So look, it's a great video. Highly recommend all of his videos, but especially the one about the history of the Guernsey. Now that I'm making my own very traditionally inspired Guernsey, I'm enjoying it all the more. I picked a yarn and I picked a colour to reflect that traditional Guernsey even more. So I am using Sandnes Garn Pure Gynt. It's a petite knit colour in 5591, which is either something like Midnight or Sailor in the Dark or Dark Navy or something. Basically, it's like an ultra dark navy. It often looks black and people are like, oh, it's unusual for you to make a black jumper, Sarah. And I'm like, no, it's not actually black. It's very dark blue. When I got it, I was a bit put off by the fact that it was so dark. I kind of wanted something a little bit bluer, but then I was like convinced by the beautiful Danielle Creek, who is an Australian, but she lives in Oslo, and she like brought this yarn for me when she came to visit for Christmas in Australia last year. So like very grateful to her for like delivering some choice Norwegian wool to Australia. And saving me the customs, but also for reassuring me that this is like a really trendy colour in Scandinavia at the moment. And she was like, oh yeah, at the time she was like, oh, I saw all these people, like I saw lots of people wearing this colour in their cool Scandi way, and then all of a sudden I was decided that it was cool and I was excited to have it. But pros and cons with this yarn. I really love the Pure Gynt. I think it's so hardy and like practical, and I just want to make like color work with it because it's got that like grippy texture. It's like, this is a like utility, no mess, like no fuss yarn, and it just makes me really happy. Like, oh, I just want to make more stuff out of this because I really enjoy the kind of, yeah, no frills nature of it. I think it would make, and I mean, obviously a lot of people have worked this out. It would be great for color work. But yeah, I just really enjoy how hardy it is. It's not super scratchy, but it's not pretending to be anything like luxurious. It's just a good fail-safe. So I really wanted this to be like a deep midwinter project. I'm running out of time, hence why it's going fast. I haven't sewn the collar down, but I have knitted the collar just so that I can do my sleeves before I just knit the body with what I've got left. But it's been a really great project and I'm really excited to wear it, whether that is now or maybe next autumn, winter. The challenge with this yarn with the color is that it's really dark, which meant like doing the sticks was actually quite challenging, and I needed like a head torch a lot of the time because it was really hard to see at night, like where I was up to. So, I mean, it's a lot easier now. I'm on the stockinette, but there was a few moments where I was like kind of cursing it. The silver lining for that is that when you make a mistake, I think it's hard to see. Like it's, the texture is fine and like diffuse enough that you probably can't notice, and plus the dark color of the yarn. But I think at one point somewhere when I joined, either I joined the two front sections or when I joined the front and back. Oh yeah, there it is. I've like, my stitch pattern is a little bit off. I don't know if you can see there, but like I just feel so blasé about this project because it's rustic and it's not fussy and it's not fancy and it's just going to be a throw on. I'm making the 4th size, so I think it's going to be a little bit more oversized. I just don't care, and you can't see it anyway, so that's the perk of dark yarn. But I'm really enjoying this pattern. This is one that's been like I've been eyeing off ever since Rebecca showed it, and so it's kind of like one of those like it was always my destiny to make this, and so now I'm living my destiny and it feels right. I think I'm overthinking the weather, and I know that we'll have plenty more cold days, so I think I'll be fine, but I really want to get this done. But that is this is my primary focus at the moment, mainly because I really want to knit some spring things, but I can't justify casting them on till I've got this done. I think I've just made this rule for myself and I'm going to stick to it. Probably. Maybe I'll do the sleeves and then I'll treat myself to like something green, like pea shoot. Like I've got some green, fresh green yarn, which is just like teasing me. But got to finish winter knits first. What else? My other whip, which has been completely neglected, is one that I've shown before, but I'll show the progress just to sort of, for posterity, to show where it is, to show that this is where I will be pausing on this for a while. And this is my Bakker scarf by Fibre Tales. This was one of my like dream projects when I saw it, because I feel like I saw it and it was midsummer and I just wanted to be like cozy and wrapped up, and I think missed the boat for this year. Like my opportunities to wear a massive squishy big scarf. Oh my God, actually this feels amazing. I haven't actually tried it on yet. This is so nice. My opportunities to wear this are not going to come around for 6-9 months now. So I'm kind of inclined to just put this one on the back burner until next year, which is a real shame now. Oh my God. Oh, it's just so cozy. Sorry. I think I am over halfway. So it's fairly it's an interesting project because it's like very simple, but you have to mark off every row because it's got this like organic undulating pattern through it, and this will change. Like this will become a braid, which like looks nicer than this, but you do that at the end. But it's got this like irregular kind of curves through it, which means that you need to cross off every row to monitor how those organic kind of fluctuating curves move. Again, it means that you don't need to be that like, if you muck up a row, it doesn't really matter because you're like, oh, it's all just part of the like organic flow of it. But it means that it's really a home project. Like I can't take it out because I need to like monitor it, and also because I'm using unspun. Because I'm using unspun, it's even more necessary that it's a home project. So It's actually quite limited when I can work on this, but I'm just like chipping away at it sometimes when I want something, because it's like pretty much all just garter stitch, but you do need to do these stockinette sections every so often. So I am going to put this one aside for a while, mainly because I want slipovers. I want more, you know, summer green cardigan. I want green cardigans basically. So squishy big shawls are going to have to stay put away for now. But it means that maybe by autumn next year, I'll kind of have a head start. And so I'll pick this up and I'll finish it really quickly and be like, wow, I've already got my first like autumn project done. Never mind. But that's that one. Goodbye, my friend. Anything else? My only other whip at the moment is a baby blanket, which I might have shown. This is my work project because I have to use bamboo needles for work, like when I go to work at the moment. So I'm just chipping away at this, which, you know, again, more garter stitch, lovely and squishy. And no acquisitions. One thing I will say, I love Paige very much. I think she's a bad influence on my acquisitions because now that she's not here, I'm like less inclined to buy yarn as often. I've actually destashed a bit of yarn, which has felt so incredibly liberating. I kind of want to keep going, but we'll see. We'll see. But, and then actually the last thing I was going to do was I was going to show a sewing project. I don't know if people are interested. If not, thank you so much for watching and for managing with a lesser format, like a diminished format. But I just wanted to show off a sewing project, which, you know, if you can't tell that I've got like a bit of spring itch, this is the giveaway. But I made something which actually looks dreadful because I haven't ironed it. I had some yellow linen fabric in stash that I wanted to use up, and Janelle, who has the most spectacular YouTube channel called Rosary Apparel, she is from Tassie. She makes patterns which are like basic and modifiable in like the perfect way, but she released a new pattern called the Clover skirt, which is kind of like a panelled button down skirt with like a few different length options, and I thought that would be a really nice spring summer project.
Groundbreaking.
And a good opportunity to use up this fabric, which I just warms my heart. Oh, look at this with this. Oh, I'm into that. So I'll show a picture of me wearing it, I'll put something in hopefully. But I haven't been sewing much, and it was really nice to finish something which was a really, really nice pattern. I think her patterns are just, her whole thing is, she's just an absolute queen, and this is her most recent pattern. I actually think is probably the ones that I'm most impressed by. The way that it like folds and like how the button placket comes together is really nice. So I'd say if you are a beginner sewer, I highly recommend her patterns and her YouTube channel. If you are like, they're just perfect. It's just great. So yeah, that's everything from me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to everyone who has been really supportive, especially as Paige and I kind of grapple with how we navigate the next few months until Paige is home from her like overseas jaunt. No, I really appreciate everyone kind of tiding us through this period. It's been really like hectic between like her leaving and my holidays and everything. Like a lot of our videos are really disjointed at the moment because we filmed a few before she left to kind of put out over time, which meant that things are not quite in a great order, and but it's fine. It's like at the end of the day, this is not a thing worth stressing about. So it's been really nice. Everyone's been really like patient and supportive as we kind of like stumble through it. But hopefully the next time we make a video, we can be together in some kind of capacity. But until then, Thank you everyone for your support. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.